Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. Over 12 billion naira has been approved by the federal government towards enhancing the operational capacity of the various agencies under the Ministry of Interior for effective service delivery. The Minister of Interior, Abdulrahman Dambazo, announced this while briefing journalists. After the meeting by the Federal Executive Council, he said 3.9 billion naira of the amount is for the provision of 22 firefighting trucks, water tankers, and other related items for the federal fire service stations nationwide. Now, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is scheduled to participate in an exclusive event for heads of states and a selection of business executives on moving forward Africa's private sector development under the Chatham House rules. This is part of the series of events the Vice President will be attending at the 2018 African Investment Forum in Johannesburg, South Africa, beginning from Thursday this week. Let's join our State House correspondent in Johannesburg for more. Hello, Jide.
Well, South Africa is a fine, beautiful country, if you asked me. And we are here in Gauteng, in Johannesburg, where the event is taking place. A great place, indeed. But you need to watch where you put your faith, because as the Chief Police said here, he warned that we should be on the watch out for petty crimes. The rate is just so high here, and so is the crime rate in all over Africa. And this may be one of the reasons why investors are scared of coming to Africa. But like the president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, said that you cannot run away from yourself. There is the need for Africans to invest in Africa. And by this, you'll give confidence to others to come in and invest. This African Investment Conference, as described, would be Africa's biggest marketplace, as policymakers, investors, donors, and everyone concerned are expected. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo would be here leading the Nigerian team. He will attend the opening ceremony on Thursday. He will also participate in the Plenary Investment Roundtable. There will also be a presidential investment chart where the Vice President will participate as a distinguished panelist.
It's very encouraging that this is happening now. Hopefully out of this conference, there'll be tangible transactions, there'll be tangible deals, there'll be actionable programs where we see a lot of infrastructure build, where we see a lot of entrepreneurs getting funding for whatever projects that they may have. And it's a step forward, really, in building Africa and making sure that we prosper.
So much is expected to take place here at this conference, and we, as the eye and voice of Nigerians, we are here to give you every detail of the event. In South Africa, I'm Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Many thanks, Jide. Now, the Senate is to investigate alleged declining rate of water resources in Nigeria from 32 to 7%. The Senate, through a motion by Senator Dino Melaye, also directs its Committee on Water Resources to investigate the management of international donations to the sector, as the legislators urged Nigeria Police to carry out a thorough investigation into the alleged assassination attempt on Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu. They also resolved to fast-track the passage of the police reform bill before it. Meanwhile, Senate is to investigate alleged misuse of the Special Intervention Fund by some politicians, as well as investigate the management of SURE-P program right from its inception to 2015. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is working on a legislation to eradicate discrimination against job seekers on the ground of age in line with constitutional provisions. It was in the light of this that Wednesday's plenary passed at second reading a bill for an act to eradicate age discrimination against job seekers in federal government agencies. The bill, sponsored by Representative Sergius Ogun, was referred to House Committee on Labor, Employment and Productivity. In the meantime, the House has resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the attack on the family of Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu. The need for government agencies to collaborate for economic development of the country and work to improve ease of doing business has been advocated. This came up as the House Committee on Banking and Currency engaged the management of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria and the Nigeria Export-Import Bank. National Assembly correspondent Omotola Omojola has more.
Committee, as part of its statutory functions, visited the finance agencies for oversight, where their 2018 budget performance was presented. Stating the various challenges to the budget performance of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, the managing director complained about lack of patronage of the corporation's assets by some government agencies.
We have a vessel that can accommodate almost 150,000 metric tons. But to even convince NPC to use our facility, that is why sometimes it's very painful. I have assets that are empty. Then you will now go and patronize third parties. So when my asset also belongs to government.
At Nexim, the committee addressed bottlenecks to ease of doing business, especially as it concerns small and medium-scale enterprises, among other issues.
For instance, if we're doing Multitracks, which is the company where that is in question, because it is big, we can deal with it directly. But we also have the objective of bringing in SMEs into export. Do we as Nexim have the capacity to do that? We don't. We need an intermediary bank that will do the monitoring, that perhaps will share risk with us.
In this era that we are trying to facilitate the ease of doing business, I think they should also try to reduce the burden on these SMEs in trying to access these facilities. And one of the major bottlenecks is the issue of bank guarantee. Is an uphill task for most of these SMEs, and I think that's where CBN has to step in.
The need for the trade finance institution to also invest in the service sector locally to reduce capital flight in health and education were also brought to the fore. Omotola Omojola, NTA News.
There are calls for self-regulation, patriotism, and sanctions to tackle the increasing spate of fake news which threatens unity and development. This was part of submission of discussants on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live. Talatu Ezerike reports.
Information is power, and these many believe commands respect when it abides by ethical principles.
It's only natural that the media, referred to as the watchdog of the society, to be in the front in advancing national interests through right reportage that foster integration, cohesion, and stability.
However, the phenomenon of fake news and hate speech linked to social media calls for concerns.
We must be resolute in tackling the cankerworm of hate speech.
If you don't find the source of the information you want to share with your neighbor or a friend or even an enemy, you are doing a disservice to your nation.
The stand for ethical reportage can best be appreciated if one goes down memory lane. In 1959, Chief Obafemi Awolowo established Nigeria's first indigenous TV station in Ibadan, called the Western Nigerian Television, WNTV. The first TV station in Africa, which grew over the years. Television, like other media organs, is seen as a powerful instrument for nation building anchored on ethical values.
I am not particularly pleased with the kind of regulation that should have been in place, because we need strengthening of our regulatory mechanisms at all times. Gone are the days when news itself used to be defined as social good. That was how it was considered. But now it has been replaced by something near evil. Some of the headlines are so devilish and all that kind of.
Anybody who then engages in hate speech now, particularly a politician, who should campaign based on issues, and he begins to throw mud at another person, then does not love the country. If you want to lead the people, and you will first set the country ablaze, who then will be left to lead?
For others, there's the need for more concerted efforts to checkmate the social media on fake news and hate speech reportage.
A number of factors that tend to agitate the political space, which creates, problem for electioneering in Nigeria. And the issue of hate speech is a very important one in this regard. For us at INEC, it's very troubling because it is a form of violence for the electoral process.
It needs some, I would say, some kind of minimalist regulation of some sort, because you don't really want the voice of the opposition to be lost. You don't want the voice of the dissenters to be lost. You don't want, it's very important for democracy to survive, for all voices to be heard.
Yes.
But everyone has to own up to their own responsibility.
Well, globally, there are strong stands to ban social media based on consequences of fake news and hate speech that undermine national unity and growth. Analysts say the watchwords for Nigerian media should be that of law and order and upholding ethical values, especially as the 2019 general elections draw near. Talat Ezerike, NTA News.
Many thanks, Salatu. Still on politics, members of the All Progressives Congress in the United Kingdom are re-strategizing towards adding value to the processes in re-electing President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019 election. Supporters of the party in the United Kingdom and indeed the diaspora have acknowledged the various developmental strides of the Buhari administration, assuring that with continuity in governance, Nigeria and Nigerians will sustain the desired growth in the country. Leader of the APC in the UK, Mr. Ade Omole, while on a visit to the party's national secretariat in Abuja, rolled out some of the plans by members to ensure President Buhari is re-elected in 2019.
That we actually put in place in 2015, but we've improved on that. It's called Ring Home, Get Your People to Vote APC. So every single member, every single progressive in the UK will be calling home to ask their relatives, their friends, their colleagues to actually vote APC. And every single member is actually, a minimum of 10 to 20 people will be called the UK to convince them to vote for the APC due to the numerous long list of achievements to date of the APC-led government.
He said the group remains committed under the current national leadership of the party and wants members across board to remain united in the quest for total transformation of Nigeria. You're still watching Nationwide. INEC begins display of voter register. Dotun is standing by in Lagos to bring us details. Hello, Dotun. It's over to you.
Thank you, Lydia, and welcome to Lagos. The Nigerian Navy and the United Kingdom Royal Navy are strengthening maritime cooperation. This indication emerged with the visit of the Prince of Wales to the Nigerian Navy dockyard in Lagos. Adeola Omokive reports.
The head of the Commonwealth, Prince Charles, was received at the naval dockyard by Commander David Goodman of the British Military Advisory Training Team and the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibaz. The arrival of Prince Charles fulfilled military traditions. He thereafter boarded the NNS Ekulu, which was commissioned a few months ago. NTA News gathered that while on board the ship, the prince observed the Maritime Command security performance. At the end of the visit, the Prince of Wales received the 3 hearty cheers before departing to other slated engagements. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Iboke Teibas, speaks on the significance of the royal visits to the Nigerian Navy and the country at large.
His Royal Majesty visited to see for himself the progress being made through the cooperative support that the Royal Navy and the British government has been giving Nigeria. We were able to demonstrate some of those capabilities to him. Perhaps this will spur the government to support the Navy, both materially and in other areas of capacity building.
And the aim of the visit of Prince Charles, the head of the Commonwealth, is to highlight and demonstrate to His Royal Highness the UK's maritime contribution to defense engagement in Nigeria and the importance of Lagos Harbour to the Nigerian economy. In Lagos, Adeola Omokive, NTA News.
The display of voters' register has commenced in Lagos, with prospective eligible voters being urged to go out and verify their names on the list in their respective areas. INEC National Commissioner in charge of Lagos, Ogun and Ondo states, Dr. Adekunle Ogumola, made the appeal while reacting to the ongoing display of voters' register in Lagos. Rotimi Oluwagbemi, who monitored the exercise, compiled this report.
The exercise, according to Dr. Adekunle Ogumola, is to allow all registered voters cross-check their details and other information supplied to INEC during registration. He said the exercise is part of programs lined up by INEC towards achieving credible elections come 2019.
It should afford people the opportunity of ensuring that they make necessary corrections to the data that they've submitted. And I want to also inform them that the possession of the permanent voters card will ensure will give them the opportunity of voting in the coming general elections.
All the designated centers visited, however, showed poor turnout of people for the exercise.
The turn-up is not encouraging, so I'll urge Nigerians that they've sent messages to come here, get their PVC, go to their different institutional area and collect their PVC at their polling units.
This kind of information, with my level, is not in the public domain.
No. I'm just hearing from you now. In some places where they pasted the list of the voters in some schools. So I saw like 2 places.
The exercise, which commenced in all the 8,465 polling units in Lagos State, is expected to end on the 12th of this month.
Time now to join Charles Abba in our Makurdi Network Center for more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Charles.
Makurdi. As the nation witnesses Day 2 of the strike embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, the Benue State chapter of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, has appealed to reconsider its stance and embrace dialogue with the federal government to end the strike in the interest of the nation. The acting chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Benue State chapter, Martin Skajo, made the appeal when he led members of the state executive on a courtesy call on the vice chancellor of the Benue State University, Professor Nsu Moses Kembe. Blessing Omecha Ebute reports.
The visit, which is one among many of the newly elected ESCOs to various organizations, is to familiarize themselves with institutions in the state for a better working. For the overall development of the state. Mr. Martins Kajo, who applauded the university management for the progress recorded so far, expressed worry over the strike action embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, saying it would slow down the already delayed academic activities.
As much as they have some reason to go on strike, they can think fast and rescind the decisions.
Vice-Chancellor of the university, Professor Moses Nsukembe, says since the strike is from the union's national body, the school has no power over it, but promised to convey their message to the appropriate authorities. On the issue of the for 2 years, he says, the NYSC has reconsidered their stand and mobilized all who are due for the 1-year mandatory service.
We had a meeting with the management of NYSC and because of the intervention of other very prominent members from this state at the national level and even at the local level.
He further assured the union of the institution's support whenever needed. In Makudi, Blessing Omeche Ibute, NTA News.
And from the judiciary comes a report that a Chief Magistrate Court 2 in Makudi, presided over by Mr. has ordered one Godwin Omale and 9 others to be remanded at the Makudi prisons for belonging to unlawful society and alleged murder. Mr. Godwin Omale, who is alleged to be the leader of a court group, alongside 9 others, have been charged for terrorizing residents of Otukpo local government area for the past 1 year. The accused, on the 26th of October 2018, were alleged to have killed one Mr. Idu Ocheche, who resides behind the NDLEA office, Otukpo, and also shot one Mr. Abba Obu, who is currently receiving treatment at the General Hospital.
It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Nigeria Assembly Public Orientation and Award 2018. Topic: Role of Executive, Judiciary and Legislature in Project Nigeria Democracy. Award category: Legislative and Non-Legislative Achievers in 8th Assembly. Speakers: Walter Onogen, San, Chief Justice of Nigeria; Senator Sabi Abdullahi, Spokesman, Senate; Honorable Namdas Abdul Razak, Spokesman, House of Representatives; Dr. Femi Adeshina, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media; Special Guest of Honor, Professor Yemi Oshimbajo, Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria; Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria; Chairman of the occasion, Senator Ahmed Makarfi, former Governor of Kaduna State; Senate President, Olubukola Saraki; and Speaker, House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara. Date: 10th November 2018. Venue: Merit House, Maitama, Abuja. Time: 3 p.m. prompt. Powered by Nigeria Assembly News Online. Proudly sponsored by NTA. For inquiry, contact NAS News Project on 0703 008 1996.
Agenda 2030. As a successor framework for the Millennium Development Goals, the global community rolled out a bigger, deeper, and more encompassing framework called the Sustainable Development Goals, designed to transform our world, lift the poor out of poverty, as well as ensure inclusive and healthy society. On Agenda 2030, we take you on a media trip to the global destination of the future we want. With everyone on board, We focus on the people and their struggle, the civil society and their agitations, the government and her development effort, the global development agenda, its 17 goals and 169 targets. We bring you all the deliberations, insightful conversations, and high-level partnerships on the road to global destination. Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
My name is DK Berry Charles. I'm from Abuja local government area, Anambra State. I'm privileged to be one of the beneficiaries of this Empower and Health. To be specific, I'm a graduate of Human Anatomy.
My name is Abubakar Musa Sufi. I'm from Kano State, Fagge local government. I study in Kano State University of Science and Technology as a food scientist.
Applied for the Empower program, but I was reluctant because of the way that things have been going in this country. You know, is based on who you know, based on favoritism, your godfather, or maybe nepotism, religion, and ethnic stuff like that. So when we went there in Fagge local government, it was not based on maybe religion or ethnicity, but it was surely based on merit. Once you have your credential on ground, you are good to go.
I must testify that it is free of any form of nepotism.
Welcome back, and thanks for being there. We now bring you the full report of our first story, which says over 12 billion naira has been approved by the federal government towards enhancing the operational capacity of the various agencies under the Ministry of Interior for effective service delivery. The Minister of Interior, Abdul Rahman Dambaza, announced this while briefing journalists. After the meeting by the Federal Executive Council, he said 3.9 billion naira of the amount is for the provision of 22 firefighting trucks, water tankers, and other related items for the Federal Fire Service Station nationwide. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has details. We are sorry for the lack of audio on that film report. Moving on now, a Kaduna High Court presided over by Justice Gideon Kurada has refused the bail application for the leader of Shiite movement in Nigeria, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, and his wife. Benny Adams has that report.
He was of the view that it was safer to order an accelerated trial rather than to grant bail. So, of course, he has exercised his discretion to refuse bail.
The case has been adjourned to 22nd of January next year for hearing. In Kaduna, Benny Adams, NTA News.
And now to the education sector. The federal government says it will not relent in ensuring education in Nigeria is tailored towards the acquisition of skills and abilities that can make the individual productive and self-reliant member of the society. This was in a message by President Muhammadu Buhari to the 2018 Annual Education Conference in Abuja. Olayinka Ojo reports.
Initiated in 2015, the Education Conference is to provide an opportunity for communication of research evidence that will guide basic education policy and practice. With the theme, Education for Self-Reliance, a systems approach to education for the achievement of Education 2030 agenda, the 2018 conference is aimed at wiping out poverty by 2030. And in order to achieve the agenda, attention must focus on all education subsector. This, government is doing with implementation of framework for skills development as well as product innovation.
This administration supports the implementation of various initiatives aimed at improving the quality of basic education delivery, such as disbursement of 42.2 billion UBEC matching grant to 26 states and the FCT.
The national framework will integrate in a competency-based training and assessment system all the qualifications available in the country.
Other key players in their summation reiterated the need to imbibe accountability and transparency as yardstick to achieve self-reliant education.
To invest in education is to invest in the future.
And really greater attention needs to be paid to getting more competent and capable teachers into the classroom.
The 2018 Education Conference is the fourth in its series. Olayinka Ojo.
Still on education, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has pledged its continued support, sharing education and culture with Nigeria to further boost their long-term relationship spanning decades. Saudi Arabian ambassador to Nigeria, Ustaz Adnan Mahmoud, stated this at the end of a 4-day refresher course for Arabic lecturers and judges of Sharia courts at the University of Abuja. Organized by Al Qura University, Saudi Arabia, the mission seeks to have collaboration between the institutions, resulting in beneficial relationships in terms of exchange of staff, students, researchers, and promotion of knowledge and scholarship, among others. Ustaz Mahmoud said Nigeria is strategic, placed on the interest Saudi has on the African continent.
The relationship between the country, it's coming from all the events, from the university, from the institute, from everywhere. The teacher here in Abuja, they are sharing the knowledge, they are know each other well.
Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration, University of Abuja, Professor Muhammad Abdullahi Kacha, who represented the Vice Chancellor, commended Saudi authorities for the training and appealed to the kingdom to redeem its pledge of donating a cultural center to the university, which management has approved land for the project.
It will not only improve their knowledge, it will get them abreast with what is happening in other clans. And importantly, it will let them know much more than they have learned before about Sharia, about Islamic teachings, about the relationship between Muslims and non-Muslims.
Abdullahi Musa Sleja reports that the ambassador presented certificates to the participants. And now to the health sector. Sustaining significance in the face of technology and change is the focus of the 91st Annual Conference of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. This is in view of the vital role in producing and ensuring safe and effective use of medication as critical members of the health team. The conference was held in Ibadan, Oyo State. Uche Ugochukwu reports.
Nigeria has an estimated 17,000 registered pharmacists responsible for the maintenance of the professional standard. This 91st annual conference is said to be the highest attended, with about 5,000 pharmacists from across the country and the diaspora. With the theme, Innovative Disruption in Pharmacy in Emerging Economies, a roadmap for Nigeria, different sessions dialogued on different ways of handling the tragedy of drug abuse, the challenge of maternal mortality, and good distribution practice.
As you were in Nigeria, there are lots of challenges with the healthcare delivery. We have some of the worst mortalities under 5 and maternal mortality. We have drugs that are not available all over the place. So there's lots of ways we can do things differently.
We're actually going to launch our e-registration in about 2 weeks.
We have digitalized our registration and regulatory activities in terms of registration of premises and personnel.
The state government has instituted the first state health insurance scheme to minimize out-of-pocket spending on health.
The conference heralded a new executive with Sam Ohuabunwa taking over from Ahmed Ibrahim Yakase as the new president.
Appealing for the constitution of Pharmacists Council of Nigeria and Medical Council of Nigeria.
If any medicine does not pass through that intermediation of a pharmacist, there's a chance that it will be misused or abused. And that is what is causing the trouble in our country. So we want to arrest that.
Various categories of awards went to people who have distinguished themselves in the field, while Kaduna State received the baton as the next host of the conference. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Enugu State House of Assembly to conduct public hearing on violence against persons prohibition bill. Let's join Chinenye in Enugu for details of this and other stories trending in that zone. Good to see you, Chinenye.
Good to see you too, Lydia. Good afternoon and welcome to Enugu. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and civil society organizations in Enugu are in a dialogue to ensure a hitch-free election come 2019. The dialogue, INEC says, is to explore the role of civil societies in improving the conduct of the elections. Ifeoma Ndokole tells us more.
The civil society organizations in partnership with INEC has over the years helped to strengthen the electoral process through the observations, reports, and advocacy for a better legal framework. Other areas is the mobilization of citizens to participate in the process of electing credible leaders. Chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission, Mahmoud Yakubu, who was represented, explained that the ideas canvassed by the civil society organizations during the dialogue will enhance the efforts by INEC in organizing a free, fair, and credible election.
For us to consult with them, for us to dialogue with them, and also for us, all of us to be on the same page as critical stakeholders in the electoral process.
Enugu State President Electoral Commissioner Dr. Emeka Ononamado emphasized the importance of peace in achieving free, fair, and credible election and called on civil society organizations to ensure that the electorates are always guided in the right direction. Other speakers events commended INEC for collaborating with the civil society community.
Is to enhance synergy and partnership between the Independent National Electoral Commission and the civil society organizations in the build-up to the 2019 general elections.
Participants at the workshop include representatives of civil society organizations from the 36 states of the country. In Enugu, Ifeoma Ndokole, NTA News.
The Violence Against Persons Prohibition Bill has witnessed mixed reactions from members of the Enugu State House of Assembly. Susan Eze reports that while some members supported the bill, others had contrary opinions on the benefits of the bill.
The private member bill, sponsored by House member Chuka Ene, seeks to eliminate violence in private and public life, prohibit all forms of violence against persons, and provide maximum protection for victims, as well as punishments for offenders. Members who supported the bill believe it will deter criminal-minded individuals from perpetrating their act, as the bill spells out specific penalties for all crimes, ranging from rape, sexual harassment.
Bill from page 1 to the last page. Then you see that we have taken a bold step to make issues of gender-based violence justice in the state.
Opponents of the bill, however, pointed out that it is a duplication of laws already contained in existing laws, such as the Child Rights Law. As the Speaker commended the sponsor of the bill and members for their robust contributions, he set up a joint committee that will conduct public hearing on the bill, which has scaled second reading. The committee has 2 weeks to report back to the House.
Bill number 15, 2017, and now the second time. Those who say ayes. Those who say nay. The ayes have.
In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
The future looks bleak for students of Post-Basic School of Psychiatric and Mental Health Nursing Enugu following their non-participation in the National Qualification Examination held nationwide recently. Eva Aneke has the report.
After 18 months of postgraduate studies, the students are unsure of what the future held for them, having been denied the opportunity to participate in the professional examination held in nursing schools nationwide. The student who took to the street in a peaceful protest against the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Enugu, Post-Basic School Authority expressed their disappointment over the development, the result of which they say is an extension of to the next conduct of the examination. The aggrieved students are alleging the misappropriation of funds paid for the registration of the examination and appealed for urgent intervention by relevant authorities.
We came in here last year, to be licensed as psychiatric nurses after our experience 18 months here. And as part of it, we are supposed to go through series of experiences, prisons, homes, communities, and all of them. I can tell you as at present, we did none of them.
But rather, what they kept telling us was we are going to write the exam. That was false reassurance. And we've been believing them. And what we did, we kept spending more money because we believed them.
My hospital, UNTH, sent me and my colleague to come and obtain this license for psychiatric nursing. And as you can see now, we are supposed to resume work on Monday, 12th of this month. But what are we going to tell them?
However, all efforts to get the management of the school for its reaction proved abortive, as the chief medical director was not on seat as at the time of filing this report. In Enugu, Eva Aneke, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Enugu. We will now join Asmau in our Sokoto Network Center for more reports from that zone. Hello, Asmau, it's over to you.
Hello, Chinenye. Good afternoon and welcome to Sokoto. About 500 unemployed graduates in Zamfara State are to undergo special training on computer hardware and software under the federal government Npower Tech program. First batch of the beneficiaries has already left Gusau for Chalawa, Kano State for effective takeoff of the training. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
Npower is one of the social investment programs introduced by President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration with a view to reducing the high rate of unemployment in the country by empowering the Nigerian youth. More than 14,000 graduates are currently benefiting from the program in Zamfara State. Additional 273 unemployed youth in the state have also been registered to attend an 8-week training on computer hardware and software under Npower Tech at the Industrial Training Center, Chalawa, Kano State. The state coordinator of the Npower, Malam Nura Umar Shinkafi, who addressed the first batch of the beneficiaries shortly before their departure, enjoined them to make the best use of the opportunity. Malam Nura Shinkafi said the ultimate goal of the Npower Tech program is for the youth to become self-reliant, thereby reducing the dependence on government for employment.
This program, I think, if our people can be able to work hardly, it will reduce the level of the poverty that we are talking about.
Executive Secretary of the State and Power Office, Malam Kabiru Zabarma, said the trainees will be given 3 square meals daily and a weekly stipend throughout the period of the training.
There is also 2 modes of payment on this program. There is weekly payment, there is monthly payment from the Office of the Vice President.
During the training, the trainees will be exposed to hardware and the foundational software development tools, as well as the resources to thrive as modern-day software development entrepreneurs. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Kebbi State government restated commitment to improve fishing activities in the state as part of effort to diversify the economy through agriculture. Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu gave the assurance at a town hall meeting with fishermen, fish farmers and fish sellers in Birnin Kebbi. Usman Abdullahi Shehu reports.
The present administration in Kebbi State since inception focused on supporting different occupational groups to ensure people at the grassroots are not left behind in the government programs and policies. Like rice and wheat farmers in the state, special intervention programs have been introduced to support small and medium occupation and entrepreneurs to be able to stand on their feet. At a town hall meeting, groups of fishermen, fish farmers and sellers have gathered to discuss with the government on how best to support their activities for socio-economic development. The groups have identified lack of modern fishing materials, poor access to national and international market among the obstacles in the business, thereby appealing for government support. Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, while responding to their comments, pledged to support the groups with about 300 million naira loan immediately. The governor, however, promised to link the groups with other financial institutions that will lend them money to improve their business. Governor Bagudu similarly said government will continue to provide more schools in their communities for their children's education. Some participants expressed satisfaction with government commitment, pointing out that their livelihood will surely be uplifted. In Birnin Kebbi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
And that's it from here. The news will continue after these messages. Please stay with us.
News which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Nigeria, a citizen participatory program, will soon be on your screen. It will transmit Mondays to Thursdays by 6 p.m. on NTA Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba channels, and NTA Entertainment, all on NTA Star TV network. Nigeria seeks to promote the appreciation of our indigenous languages, citizen civic responsibility, nationalism, and capacity building. It also helps to address misrepresentation of our national symbols. Nigeria is a live phone-in TV program, so you can join in the conversation. For sponsorship and participation, please contact these numbers. Nigeria, promoting culture and national values.
Yeah, Modena. Do you have Yamala? Yes. And Abdullah? Yes, sir. Black or white? Yamala. Have I ever eaten white amala here before? Yes, sir. Give me amala and abula. Do you have dodo? Dodo program. Good. Let me have some dodo. I want to put the meat in a bowl. Shaki, suku, abodi. I like my edo to be very tender. You have stockfish? Yes, sir. Good. Let's have some stockfish. And the catfish, my favorite. Don't mind them. You have eggs. I would like 6 boiled eggs. No eggs. Okay, the catfish will do. And then rice. rice and some salmon. When he said, look, do you have a puru?
Welcome back to the concluding part of Nationwide. To augment the efforts of other security agencies in combating crime in Birnin Gwari area of Kaduna State, the Nigerian Air Force has established a forward operational base codenamed Dirar Mikia in the community. Suleiman Abdullahi Rugachiku reports.
The only thing I want to do is to thank, first of all, His Excellency the President of Nigeria for doing what is almost a magic, because I have had some discussion with the Chief of Air Staff. The amount of equipment and support that is being given to them is wonderful.
That explains the excitement of the paramount ruler of Birnin Gwari, Zubair Jibril Megwari II, for a community that has suffered incessant cases of armed banditry, cattle rustling, robbery and kidnapping on the news of the establishment of Operation Dirar Mikia, which means Eagle Strike. Chief of Air Staff said criminals are now in for the eagle eyes of the operation bees.
With the number of helicopters and platforms that the federal government under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari has given the Air Force, we believe that we have additional capacity that we can deploy here so that we can support our colleagues, the Nigerian Army and the police, as well as other security agencies, so that the community will be secured.
A bilingual Zangaya school built to facilitate integration of Almajiri system of learning with formal education has been allocated to the Nigerian Army and the Air Force for the forward base operations.
With these efforts and sustained collaboration with other security agencies, the people of Birnin Gwari axis of Kaduna State remain hopeful to see the end of banditry and kidnapping in their area. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikun, NTA News.
Thanks, Suleiman. A public-private initiative is once again drawing attention to the country's immense potential in commercial tourism. The Projectile Organization and the National Commission for Museums and Monuments took this campaign to Nigeria's first museum located in Ilorin, Kwara State. Gufa Shadi tells us more.
Established in 1945, the Eastern Museum in Kwara State sits on 25 acres of land and is the first museum in Nigeria. Giving it a facelift to promote culture and boost the tourism sector is what this gathering is about.
We have so much in Nigeria that we don't even have to go to other countries. I mean, we have the museums, we have the natural places of interest. We have, look at the Owu waterfalls.
That is why we all should not leave financing culture in the hands of the government alone. Each and everyone is being invited to look into the future and know that the future belongs to such service industries like tourism.
NTA's Executive Director, Administration and Training, Steve Ebo, who represented the Director General of NTA, assured the groups of NTA support in ensuring that they provide a voice for the promotion of Nigeria's heritage and culture.
At NTA, we have peculiar functions, part of which is to showcase the nation. NTA is going to play a very strategic role in this particular venture.
The project is expected to be self-sponsored through fundraising with an estimated budget of 118 million naira. In Abuja, Ufan Shaji, NTA News.
Sports is next. Ben